and gentlemen, is our last panel presentation completing our forum. Revolutionize the way you view retail with our panelists. Let's all welcome Ms. Carrie Ilagan. She is Cisco Meraki's region lead at Asia Pacific Japan and Greater China. We've also got with us Mr. Jonathan Ho, Technical Director, Southeast Asia and Korea of Micro Focus. And joining them, Mr. Anthony Fernandez, Assistant Vice President and Head Retail Industry, PLDT Enterprise. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will be collecting some questions here from the floor. They've been sending this in since your presentations earlier on. I have one for Ms. Carrie of Cisco. How is retail adopting cloud-based technology to create smart retail spaces using cameras, analytics, and other solutions? I like that. I think it's very related as well to the previous panel and cloud technology, but specifically cameras, analytics, other solutions.
Hi, Danny. Thanks for the question. Well, as we know, cloud has massively changed the way we all work, live, and shop today. And in retail, the biggest change really happened around three areas. First of all, the customer experience has dramatically changed for the better. Whether consumers or customers are shopping online or in store, the customer experience because of cloud-based technologies has significantly improved. For example, in store, I think customers with technologies having robust Wi-Fi network and integrated it with really good integration with cameras that are smart and intelligent, customers can feel safer to be in the stores, especially this time. And the experience is different because cloud enables the retailers to adjust and adapt to, say, making sure that they have enough cash registers open, because they could see that through the camera. So it gives them that agility. So in store, that's one of the experience that could change. Of course, online, we all know that digital is king. With analytics and machine learning, experiences are actually more personalized with all the analytics that's available in the cloud today. So that's on customer experience. From the operations point of view for retailers, this is driving a lot of operational efficiency. For example, sensors and cameras that are integrated today can now help shop owners or retailers manage inventory, decrease or minimize the possibilities of fraud with those cameras. And having that all residing in the cloud, you're able to respond quickly and even preempt potential adjustments to their operations, so that they minimize, like I said, fraud, which is a big concern of retailers. Another piece that that's really driving operational, where cloud is really helping driving operational efficiencies, is we've seen it in the Philippines in the last several months. Agility is very important. The emergence of pop-up shops, right? Go where the customers are. In the past, you only see that for dry goods and fashion, for example. But today, you get pop-up shops for even food retailers. And for that to happen, a network that is agile and it's easy to deploy and has a true zero-touch. This is really true zero-touch provisioning makes all of that happen. So that's operational efficiency. But the third and last important piece is really around physical and cybersecurity. The experiences can be delivered seamlessly and beautifully, but at the end of the day, cloud is with cloud rather than digital. Your surface attack has expanded massively. So it's also important that this all integrated platforms that's cloud-based also provide you with the right level of security, so that not just the consumers are feeling safe, but also retail owners are feeling more secure because of all these newly opened attack surfaces. So with Cisco Meraki, we've innovated. We are born in the cloud company, and we're very focused on innovating with cloud at the center, and with our platform and the dashboard, all of the different devices, physical, hardware, software, are all integrated in a single pane of glass.
Excellent
And that's,
answer.
I guess, your question.
Yeah, on the one hand, it makes fraud less prevalent because you have cameras, but on the other hand, there's cybersecurity threats being very prevalent. So two things that you need to balance out. But like you mentioned, I think it really relates to the other session that we had on Internet of Things, because you can also imagine how all of these cameras and how all of these remote ways of doing business can actually work and can function completely in an entire ecosystem. So thank you for that, Carrie. Let's move on to Jonathan of Microfocus. This is a nice question. We've heard about the importance of omni-channel for retail. So different channels, physical, you've got digital as well. How should retailers look at transforming digital experiences? I mean, has this transformed really during the pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me on board on this panel. Where Microfocus focus really on the software transformation in enabling the customer digital journey. So in answering that question, I would like to take this from two approaches, two angles. The first angle is really having really good software and preparing customers and using that software to provide great customer experience anywhere, anytime. It's quite clear that even before the pandemic, we have seen a series of hot product launches, like the iPhones of the world, the PlayStations and all that. And during that time when some of these hot products were launched, some of these existing retail sites already, are facing, volume difficulties, and sometimes to the extent of having crash sites. And some of it are attributed to frenzied buying or panic purchase at the large scale, which then puts stress on the system. And some are more predictable than the others for the IT team to plan for. So it's absolutely important to also look at, in this digital transformation, having a real good, solid, software that can actually enable customer experience at this stage. We are now in the middle of a pandemic, and this situation has actually created a significant drop in more traffic. I think a lot of the panelists have actually already covered that. And we are also seeing, a lot of the retailers out there where the essential items are now being brought through online systems, through digital payment platforms. Contactless buying experience are actually gone digital in many ways, and you can now shop 7/24. And this created a tremendous demand, right, in terms of the digital retail system, which needs to function, needs to be secured, and needs to perform. And therefore, in transforming the digital experience, it's absolutely necessary for the retailer to make sure that the software platforms, whatever that could be, whether is it the web platform, the mobile platform, or the channel partner ecosystem platform, they need to make sure that the software provide the needed buying experience, make it hassle-free and enjoyable, and at the end of the day, make it sustainable, so that when this pandemic situation ends and becomes an endemic situation where we need to live with the virus, this business model continues to be sustainable. So that's one angle, making software usable and providing great customer experience. Yeah. The second angle that I would like to look at this transformation is really on providing this experience anytime and with scale. Right? It is quite clear that these current generations of buyers or consumers, whether is it the pre or post-internet, has now been forced into this experience of convenience of e-retail. And there's no turning back, right? I'm quite sure most of the panelists here, in one way or another, have actually started e-commerce purchase, whether is it through the Shopee platform and or the Amazon platform of the world, right? And this convenience is now going to be part and parcel of our daily lives, and this will probably continue even after the lockdown. And we are seeing a lot of retailers now having, year-long promotions, and with the 5.5, 9.9, 10.10, coming up, this is obviously going to create a lot of demand for that. And, I was doing some reading and I learned that Shopee Philippines, right, back in December 2020, they have actually broken the records in terms of revenue, with 12 million items being purchased within the first 24 minutes. And I'm quite sure in this coming year, right, with this pandemic and, the evolution of digital buying experience, the revenue number is going to exceed further. So then this creates a dilemma whether the current digital applications, right, where you actually support this important business is able to sustain such huge volume in terms of capacity. Just imagine if the applications of the software breaks in the first few minutes of the operations, it will then create obviously bad reputation, bad customer experience and trust, and therefore then impact the business. Hence, therefore, I think it's absolutely important as part of this digital transformation in the retail space to also focus on ensuring that your platforms are able to scale quickly in order to meet this huge demand.
Thank you for that. I think you pointed out how, before, in the middle of the pandemic, we were thinking, okay, is this just a temporary surge in e-commerce, in buying, because of the situation that will then level off over time? But as you mentioned, it's going to be an endemic. We're going to be living with this for a while. You better start scaling up and better start adjusting to this, right? It's no longer an amazing thing. It's the new normal, as mentioned. And let's move on to Anthony of PLDT. Specifically on that point, how can retailers prepare for the future, both post-pandemic as well as the next opportunity? There doesn't seem to be a post-pandemic. There just seems to be a continuation of the way we're doing things, right?
That's true. That's true, Danny. Thank you for the question. Well, I think the most effective way for any retail company is to be connected with their customers. And they will have to review their consumer life cycle and supply chain management or resource planning. With that, by mere future-proofing it, it will provide better convenience and better customer experience. So they can consider building their own expertise, or they can partner with companies such as EPLDT, AGS, Kuro Technica, and EPDS, whose core competency is to prepare businesses in this uncharted territory. We at PLDT and EPLDT, together with our subsidiaries and affiliates, has the capability and resources to help retail companies achieve their digital transformation. We have use cases for omni-channel solutions, end-to-end e-commerce with digital payment options, and manage IT services with cybersecurity, as Carrie did pointed out earlier. There's a lot of fraudulent transactions happening online. I think these are the first few steps that each retail company will have to make to future-proof their business.
Thank you for that, Anthony. And on that note, Carrie, a question for you specifically on digital threats. With the presence of more cloud-based services or devices rather connected to the network, is there a good strategy on how to protect retailers from digital threats?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, there's the attack surface is increasingly has increased significantly, especially now that people are moving more online and in a rapid space. One of the things that retailers should really consider is how do you connect all of the devices that you have in place? I mean, in the past, retailers use cameras or CCTV for so long to protect themselves. But with the cameras that we have today, that has become smarter, intelligent, cloud-based, cloud-centric. As I mentioned, it could be it could be preventive versus reactive. So that's one area. The other thing that we do at Cisco, as we are we're one of the largest security company in the world. We also offer the most SASE or the secure access service edge solution that's available today in the market. We provide the most powerful and yet simple to use IT networking and security solutions for retailers of any size. So it's, I'd love to ask the retailers that we have here in the country to take a look how they see their security solutions to make it a little bit more simple and integrated, because attacks happen every day, and they change. The agility to change policies, because many of these retailers, as we all know, have very lean IT. So it's important that they've got the right security solution where, nothing is complicated. Everything is made simple, right? So and this is how we continue to innovate our Cisco Meraki solution to make sure that um, retailers or our customers, for that matter, get to be able to respond, without having to navigate the navigate the complexities that they need to do in terms of policies, devices, what have you.
Excellent point there. Let's stick to the basics, keep it simple, make it sustainable, so that you can be, more proactive rather than reactive, preventive rather than reactive. Thank you for that. One last question, and we're running out of time, unfortunately. This one for Jonathan. In view of the strain of the pandemic, which has hit many in the retail industry, what would you recommend as priorities for companies when they're considering their first digital push?
Right. I actually have three keynotes, 3 points that I would like to point it out here. And I think these are all very important dimensions or criteria for the retailer to really consider. I think the way to go forward with this digital push is really to have innovations. And these innovations probably come in the form of, a very good customer experience software, because that is your very first touch point or what we call the system engagement, where the consumer, interact with the company as a whole through a piece of software. And this software obviously is getting more and more important. And, as Carrie earlier mentioned in her panel discussions, through the mobile devices and all that. So this has become important. And imagine the loss of the customer traffic if the customer experience on the software is poor, right? So consider putting thoughts and effort around, innovating with, a software-driven approach. The second way to, consider or prioritize for companies in terms of their digital push really is to scale, where it makes sense. And I think I want to angle it from two perspectives. Probably for the larger companies where they have all the retail space and, shop space and floor space, as what one of the panelists has actually mentioned, which is their key asset. They can actually consider scaling and monetizing through the use of more digital platforms to provide more added value services, right, during these times. So I've seen many examples where retail mall are actually going above and beyond just providing retail services. They've actually gone into food ordering and delivering services, right, and then, contain it within some promotion campaigns and all that, extending these new capabilities and services through additional omni-channel experiences. And this is obviously one approach where the big boys, right, can actually, continue to scale. And obviously to do that means you need to have a solid and a scalable IT platform. And without that, then it's going to be difficult. For the smaller companies that where they have limited budget, and resources and knowledge and skill set, that's where they probably can, take on a more what we call out-of-the-box approach, where they can actually leverage on a lot of, the larger, cloud service provider out there today. Because what is important, because these smaller companies, they lack the people, they lack the skill, they may not have the financial power to do a lot of great things. And therefore, one of the ways is to really to leverage some of the existing services and payment, capabilities that's already embedded together with some of the larger cloud service provider. And I think by taking on what we call, or taking advantage of the cloud first approach, they can then leverage and enjoy, this value, with a lower upfront cost. And obviously when their business grow, this cloud first approach will also offer them cost flexibility as well. Yeah. And, around the cloud adoption, perhaps they can also look at more SaaS offering in the region, where they can, quickly get their digital services up online quickly, And because some of these SaaS solutions out there in the market today can, provide a lot of services such as, ensuring that the application works, is functionally working, it is secure, so that they can avoid, rework to rebuild. They embedded what we call cybersecurity or resiliency within the SaaS offering. And then more importantly, with the PDPA, right, regulations that's happening in Philippines, also ensure that the data privacy regulations are also kept intact and protect customer data. So another approach really for the smaller companies is really to look at the SaaS approach. And in short, use the technology to simplify and accelerate their retail push.
Thank you so much.
And to know
you
more
do have
about
a third
that,
one.
yeah.
Go ahead, please, please.
I'm good. No, so I just wanted to, round this off by, sharing that Micro Focus has actually supported many of these smaller retail companies globally in their push towards the digital transformation, and more importantly, the customer experience journey. So feel free to reach out to us in our virtual booth to find out more. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think, for our delegates here, there's really a lot to be discussed, and they need more specific information for their own retail businesses. So I hope they can reach out to you directly, send you guys an email, and find out more offline. So thank you so much, lady and gentlemen, for that wonderful discussion.